Congress MP Rahul Gandhi today took over as the leader of opposition in the lower house of the parliament. This is a position that was vacant for the past 10 years because no opposition party met the minimum strength criterion for the post. Now, Rahul Gandhi, credited for a resurgent Congress, once known as a part-time politician, is now all set for a new role. Now, that remains to be seen if that is true or not. But the optics of it today, after the Speaker was elected, Rahul Gandhi shaking hands with the Prime Minister, wishing the Speaker all the success, and later reminding him that the Speaker's post has to go beyond bipartisan politics, shows that he's, of course, gearing up for this role, a role that sees him representing the whole opposition. Now, that is going to be challenging as well, as the India Bloc has often had multiple serious disagreements. Now, what does Rahul Gandhi's elevation mean for the BJP and its attack on dynasty politics? How prepared is Rahul for this role, and what really prepared him for this? What is the future of oppositional politics under Rahul Gandhi? Will there be more radical ideas, or will there be a meeting ground? We will discuss all of that and more. Joining us now is, of course, an esteemed panel of guests. We have with us Aarti Jairath, who is a political commentator. We have Anil Anthony, who is from the BJP. And we also have Salman Soos from the Congress party. And we also have Praveen Bhatti from the Samajwadi Party. Thank you so much for joining me on this show. Starting with you, Mr. Soos, because your party is being discussed today. Sir, how prepared do you think Rahul Gandhi is prepared for the role of the opposition? And I remember that there was a point when people used to say that the BJP wants Rahul Gandhi as the opposition because he was seen as a weaker opposition. Now, clearly that is not the case anymore. How do you see oppositional politics changing under the leadership of Rahul Gandhi?
I think it is fair to say that Rahul Gandhi has been if nothing else, but a senior most leader of the Congress party, of the India Alliance, has been seen both nationally and internationally as a key leader of the opposition. So I don't think this role in itself is anything new to him. You have to remember that it was under his leadership that the Congress party started the Bharat Jodo Yatra, the two of them that actually helped galvanize public opinion in the country. It is his partnership with our Congress President Kharge that has actually resulted in so many good things happening in the opposition space. So many of us are together. I think we've been able to, spark the imagination of the Indian public. They've given us a lot of love and trust. They felt that we were raising the issues that are important to the people of this country.
Right.
We focused on protecting the Constitution, the basic structure of the Constitution. When we all feel that it is under threat, we raised issues that affect the young people of this country, whether it is paper leaks, whether it is jobs, whether it is the Agni scheme. We spoke about the farmers. We spoke about the women. Those are the issues that Rahulji has been raising consistently for many years now. And this is, in some ways, one more step in the direction of representing the people of this country.
Well, that's very important. Let me also remind our viewers that Rahul Gandhi, 54 years old, is the third member of the Gandhi family to become the leader of the opposition. His father and former Prime Minister of India, Rajiv Gandhi, was the leader of opposition from 1989 to 1990 when VP Singh government was in power. His mother, of course, former UPA chairperson Sonia Gandhi, also had this post from 1999 to 2004 in the Vajpayee government. Anil Anthony, do you think this attack that the BJP often does against the Congress party on dynasty, do you see that having a limited role in future elections? Because clearly Rahul Gandhi is the leader of opposition now, and the Congress party has revised numbers, renewed numbers, which are more than what it had in 2019.
Thank you, Vasudha. It's good to be in the show. First of all, the Bharatiya Janata Party, we are very, very happy with how things are going the current parliament session. It is just 2 days, but in this 2 days already a lot of narrations that were created by the opposition regarding the disharmony, the disunity, etc. in the NDA. Right now it is proven to be absolutely not true. And all the initial signs, it is making it very clear that the NDA is fully united and we have a very harmonious government that is led by our honorable Prime Minister. It is only the third time in India's, it's only the second time in India's history that a prime minister has come back for the third time. And then any narrations that were created regarding the harmony as well as the unity of the India alliance,
Right.
2 days it's been proven to be fully wrong. We saw what has been happening in the last 2 years. Rahul Gandhi, it was his first day as the leader of opposition. And the first day itself, a contentious issue regarding the speaker's election.
Right.
There had been a lot of hype, a lot of hoopla that were built around the speaker's election. For the fourth time in India's history,
Right.
we had a speaker's election which was forced based on the Congress's views of some unnecessary as well as some slides which never existed.
Okay.
And today, without even a proper vote, with just a voice vote, the speaker was elected. Similarly, when you look at the full situation of what Rahul Gandhi represents, the first question which everybody will be having is he actually unifying presence in the opposition? We all know that as far as the Congress party is concerned, it's a family that completely binds the party.
Right.
We all know that the party exists over the interest of the family. But you look at the events that happened, which happened in the last 2 days. Today, the speaker had moved a resolution on the emergency.
Right.
And some of the key India Alliance members, including TMC as well as Samajwadi, they were not part of the protest while the INC members.
No, that's very important. Let me ask this question to the Samajwadi Party gentleman here, Pradeep Bhati sir. Like clearly, I agree with Anil Anthony that there could be disagreements, within the India Alliance, but we've also seen disagreements in the Mahayuti Alliance of Maharashtra. At the end of the day, electoral results matter, and it shows that the united opposition did manage to get many of its narratives across to people. So, what do you think about Rahul Gandhi as a unifying force? Something that Anil Anthony has been talking about, and something that Mr. Soos also mentioned, that he is an experienced leader, he knows how to handle things, but he has handled failures earlier. This is something that is a success for him. How do you see him representing the whole opposition, especially Samajwadi Party also, because you have also performed the best in the history of your party, sir?
Thank you and good evening to all. Firstly, I'll start with the leader of the House in Lok Sabha and leader of opposition in Lok Sabha got elected from the state of Uttar Pradesh. And our leader, Honorable Akhilesh Yadav ji, who is also the leader of third largest party in India, is also got elected from Uttar Pradesh. So Uttar Pradesh has high hopes. And we believe that in the coming days, if BJP goes as by the track record, then there will be a tough time going ahead. Today in Parliament, Honorable Akhilesh Yadav ji has hoped and set expectation also. Number one, voice of opposition and voice of every MP is equally important. So suspension and expulsions should be avoided. We are a mature democracy, and we believe that in a mature democracy, we have to have a participative democracy. And I quote him on the speaker post, that nishpakshta is mahan pad ki mahan zimmedari hai.
Right.
Whether it comes to Uttar Pradesh or to India, our alliance, India Alliance, have seen lots of ups and downs, and after that you have seen the result. We are the single largest party in Uttar Pradesh. We have a good chemistry between us and the Congress party. We, as a largest party, our role is important not only in Uttar Pradesh, also in India Alliance as well as in the entire India.
Right.
Impartial and fairness is equally important in the parliament proceedings. So that is also one thing which is Honorable Akhilesh Yadav ji has highlighted.
Okay.
It is at most important is inevitable. So the BJP has to make consensus.
But do you see Rahul Gandhi? I'll come to you in a bit. Aarti, I was wondering, just a few months ago, Rahul Gandhi was disqualified in a defamation case. There were visuals of him even leaving his house, and people from Wayanad writing to him that you can be part of. In sense, we'll sort of open our houses for you. And today, he is going to be given an important he is going to be given residence from the government side. He is the official leader of opposition. So So clearly times change. How do you see this impacting, how do you see this as a challenge for the BJP's politics, because he is also going to be part of appointment committees of several bodies including NHRC and CEC. How do you see that impacting the kind of controversies that India has seen in the last few years, specifically when it comes to autonomy of institutions?
Well, Vasudha, first I'd like to say that it's been quite an incredible journey for Rahul Gandhi. 5 years ago, he walked away from the post of Congress president because, the party had performed so badly in 2019. You remember that historic CWC meeting where he just walked out and said, I don't know, I'm resigning from this post. To today, accepting a post in the, in parliament as leader of opposition, which obviously puts on him a lot of responsibility because he is now the voice of the opposition in parliament. And with that comes a lot of responsibility, privileges, yes, but a lot of responsibility too. And I think, one of his first tasks will be to actually, stitch up this India alliance into a much more unified bloc. It is really a work in progress.
Right.
It started, just 1 year before the polls, and slowly it has been growing. And now, of course, they've got this amazing success of having won so many seats. So I think that is going to be one of his first tasks, to really to get the India bloc unified so that they can, speak in one voice in parliament instead of the kind of dissensions we saw briefly over this whole speaker, controversy that happened.
Right.
But the other thing is that I think as far as the BJP is concerned, this dynastic chant that they have set up and they have been going on and on and on about, it's now going to wear thin. I mean, Prime Minister Modi has to do business with Rahul Gandhi. Rahul Gandhi is LOP.
Right.
And according to conventions in Parliament, just like when the Prime Minister speaks, the House is supposed to listen. When the LOP speaks, the House is also supposed to listen. Right. Interruptions are really frowned upon. So it's something that Prime Minister Modi and the BJP will have to deal with. And to, go on attacking him on this dynastic plank.
Right.
I think after a point of time, there are diminishing returns on this.
Absolutely.
So, we'll have to see. It's an evolving relationship. Even for the Prime Minister, it's a new situation. After all, he's having to, deal with a coalition today. He doesn't have that brute majority anymore.
Right.
So, he also has to be more consensual. I think even for Rahul Gandhi, he has to learn how to evolve consensus within his India bloc so that, we don't see any kind of dissensions and fragmentations.
That's very important, yeah.
For me, as a student of politics, as an observer of politics, it's a very fascinating, and interesting
Let me ask that question to Mr. Soos. Also, I wanted to ask you, Mr. Soos, as somebody who has been an observer of politics, somebody who's been in politics for so long, tell us also this fact that, my understanding of Rahul Gandhi is also someone who's not a very conventional politician, somebody who doesn't believe in adjustment politics, someone who doesn't believe in these backroom talks, we'll do this and then you do that. How do you think that kind of personality is going to sort of work out, in a coalition government, specifically because a lot of parliamentary procedures will have to be dependent on discussions and sort of engagement?
I think one thing to keep in mind is that, I feel that after age 30, you don't really change that much. Rahul Gandhi, in his heart, I think, carries the hopes and fears of the Indian people. I mean, he's, I think, devoted to the weakest of our society. He's devoted to the marginalized communities in this country. So I think that is what drives him, frankly. I mean, he really wants a better life for those who are being left behind. So in that sense, his activism, I think that is going to remain with him, with our party as well, because that is what was behind the Bharat Jodo Yatra as well. So in that sense, there will be continuity. But of course, he's in a very important role now, where he's leading the entire opposition. But when we talk about leading the opposition, I don't want us to get the impression that there's an opposition bloc and that is, there are 235 or 240 MPs and that is what the voice he's carrying. He's carrying the voice of hundreds of millions of people who voted for our alliance. Mind you, the number of people who voted for the India alliance is almost the same as the number of people who voted for the NDA. So there is no real difference there. Our voters are also citizens of this country.
Right, sir.
NDA's voters are also citizens of this country. So Rahul Gandhi is going to be talking about the issues that matter most to these people. We have to represent those people. I'm sure he's going to do a great job of that.
Yeah, thank you so much, all of you. I'm really running short of time. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining me on this show. Also joining me now to speak on this topic is Nalin Kohli, lawyer with the Supreme Court. He's also with the BJP. Thank you so much for joining us, sir, on this show. My first question to you: Rahul Gandhi took charge as the leader of opposition today. The optics of it, him shaking hands with the Prime Minister, later talking about the need for the Speaker to respect the voice of the opposition. How do you see oppositional politics playing out from here on?
So there are several facets to the answer that will follow to your question. The first is that, look, the Congress party's seats have increased in Parliament, and therefore the leader of opposition naturally would fall on them. Now, it's interesting to note that Mr. Rahul Gandhi has taken that responsibility, because so far, since 2004 to 2024, there hasn't been really any step by Mr. Rahul Gandhi to take a formal position in that sense in Parliament or in government. That is for the Congress party to decide. In any case, the Congress party's politics is centered around the Nehru-Gandhi family, which is the first family. So these roles either fall onto someone from there or someone whom they deem fit to lead that post or hold that post. The second is, what will he make of it and the optics? Well, one hopes that those optics will turn into substance. Being in a campaign mode prior to the election, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, or any leader in that matter of fact, will raise questions more from an optics perspective and from a vote appeal perspective, which may be very different to governance and the importance of what an opposition plays on substantive issues.
Right.
So one will have to see how that evolves. Only time will answer. Will it be about noise? Will it be about sloganeering? Will it be about actually comprehensive discussions, detailed discussions, debate, questions, which is what the role of the opposition is and what the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji himself said.
Absolutely.
That, the country is looking for an opposition in that sense.
Right.
That only time will answer. Otherwise, your question will stand answered with time that it was only optics, the handshake.
Right. But sir, Rahul Gandhi will also be part of committees that will decide the heads of Vigilance Commission or NHRC. How do you see that affecting your party's governance agenda? And also, with all these responsibilities, do you finally see Rahul Gandhi as someone who has shed the tag of part-time politician? This was an attack that your party initiated against Rahul Gandhi.
That's for him to answer through his actions, not words. Whether he's a part-time politician, whether he's a serious political person, whether his politics has substance or not, it's really for his actions to speak for it, not his words also. So I really can't really pass a comment on that. With regard to his role as a formal member of these various selection panels or committees, which involves the Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Chief Justice of India, and now the leader of opposition will be there. And in this case, it would be Mr. Rahul Gandhi. I don't see any change in the Congress party's stance, which is they would raise their questions. They would constantly make an allegation that we were not consulted or things like that. But if there is a change in that, it would come as a pleasant surprise.
Right. Also, sir, Rahul Gandhi also insisted on publicizing the narrative that democracy is under danger, constitution is under threat. Now, this is the same thing that is believed to have impacted the BJP's popularity electorally amongst deprived sections of the society, including in Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh. How do you see this challenge growing with Rahul Gandhi as a leader of opposition now?
I won't agree with the second part of your question, which is our party or the BJP in this case lost out because of the plea that democracy is in danger. I think democracy is as strong as ever, in fact, perhaps stronger than ever. The opposition party is winning. The question to be asked of the opposition party is, when they say democracy is in danger, how did their seats increase? They said the EVMs are fraudulent or suspect. They've raised petitions. Then how did they win? So I think from a sense of the query that they raised or the slogan that they raised that the EVMs are suspect, the election commission is not fair, democracy is in danger, they actually owe at the very least an explanation to the people of India, the voters of India, and an apology to the election commission. I think that's the starting point. Now let's come to the question with regard to the democracy in danger and the constitution. Now, Mr. Rahul Gandhi is popularizing a small book-size handheld version of the Indian Constitution. It's not a book. It's a living document. And it's a document that means a lot. It goes beyond the words there. They are not empty words. They are words with import.
Right.
So I think a starting point to understand what democracy in danger is to go to the emergency provisions in the Constitution and read under what article in 1975 on 25th June emergency was done, and what does that emergency provision translate into? Right. It followed the Rajnarayan judgment, and Mrs. Gandhi, then Indira Gandhi, the late Prime Minister, invoked it. So I think that would be a good starting point. And democracy in danger can't be a slogan so lightly used on the cuff of someone's sleeve.
Yeah.
It has to have import, and once you hold the Constitution, it's a solemn document. I think then the holder of that document must give it the import of what it deserves and the respect what it deserves, and not use Constitution as a loose word like yaar tum kya kar rahe ho, or colloquial. Constitution's a heavy word. So when you start living by the Constitution, then it would add substance to whatever the person who's holding that book or is quoting the Constitution, it would translate into. And I think that would be good for democracy, that would be good for parliamentary democracy, and it will be wonderful for the political leaders who also adhere to it.
Absolutely. But so this emphasis on social justice, reservations, caste census, something that has become very central to Rahul Gandhi's politics, all of that is bound to increase, right? How does your party see that challenge?
So speaking as I said earlier also in this interaction, Vasudha, raising points during public rallies and all are very different to Parliament. Parliament has its own, it's a very significant institution. It's a critical institution. It's an institution of great value because that's the temple of democracy. So I think one will have to wait to see how it translates there. Reservations have never been in danger. I don't know where this debate came from. Personally, I think this is a manufactured discourse that, reservations will be removed, the constitution will be changed. There are individuals within the BJP who went ahead and came up with these, statements that we'll get 400 and all. But where has the party ever, on a structured basis, said we would like to change the constitution? In fact, the only change which is substantive to the Constitution of India, besides in terms of amendments that have taken place as per the constitutional provisions and parliamentary process, is the amendments in 1975. Those are the only amendments that have altered the character of the Constitution. And that requires a serious discourse. But if the opposition parties and the Congress party itself wishes to bury its head like an ostrich in the sand and ignore the reality that emergency was imposed under Mrs. Indira Gandhi's rule, and therefore is hesitant to accept that truth and have a meaningful discourse around it, how can they ever have a plank saying democracy is in danger? Because actually the only time it was in danger was when a democracy was suspended and civil rights were suspended, fundamental rights were suspended in 1975 under Mrs. Indira Gandhi.
Okay, my last question to you. I also see you as someone who understands politics beyond a certain party's frame. So what do you think are the challenges for Rahul Gandhi as he now also has to keep parties such as Samajwadi Party and TMC together, and these parties have not been often aligned with the Congress's way of thinking? And what does this mean for your own party's attack on dynasty politics?
So first, thank you for those kind words, Vasudha. And when I answer at the end, I will keep aside my political hat and try to be neutral on it. Although, in fairness, those on the opposition side will never see that as neutral because I do have a political identity also. Nevertheless, one at a time. First is there are two kinds of political parties in the country. They are parties that are family-oriented, family-centric or family-controlled. And the other is ideology-based. In ideology-based, it really is the BJP or the left-front parties. The left-front parties have diminished in their space. They are now broadly only in terms of actual presence and governance in Kerala. And they have lost out in West Bengal and Tripura, which were the other bastions. With regards to the BJP, we are an ideology-based party, not a specific family-oriented party. Now, I'm not saying good or bad. I'm just simply saying there's a reality in a family-centric party. Either the top post is reserved for a family or it is reserved for someone who enjoys the blessings of the first family. So these are the two models. I think these are the models that present themselves before people and people then decide to vote. Now, the next was a larger question, and you were expecting a sort of a neutrality in my comment about Mr. Rahul Gandhi and his challenges and all. Look, it's not personal. Mr. Rahul Gandhi is a citizen of this country. He has the same rights as you who's asking the question, or me who's answering the question, or those who are sitting on your in your studio or on your production panel. So we are equal citizens under law, and that's the beauty of the Constitution. The question is, one may get an opportunity out of the virtue of, say, being born in a particular family or being born at the right time in the right place. But what you make of that opportunity is a completely individual fact. So I think if Mr. Rahul Gandhi wants to prove, and that is for him, it is his journey. It's not for me to advise or anyone else to advise. But if he has to really come across as a serious leader, his actions will have to speak louder than the words. And I think that holds true for anyone. It holds true for you, for me, or anyone else.
Thank you, Mr. Kohli, for speaking to NDTV. So Rahul Gandhi has new responsibilities and a role that will probably for the next few years define the response and direction of opposition's politics. How that plays out is something that we'll have to wait and watch.